My apologies, everyone, for being a little late. Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the U.S., and I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class. It is Wednesday, June 19th, 2024 at 11 a.m. Central Time as I'm coming to you live. And I have a lot of projects to share. I have 2 cards and a couple pages which comprise of a layout. So I hope that you enjoy what I have to share. I'm bringing to you some summer goodness. The Mediterranean Blooms suite in the annual catalog, the current annual catalog, is to die for. It's got gorgeous colors, deep night of navy and rich pumpkin pie, peach pie, daffodil delight, just gorgeous lights and darks. The contrast is beautiful and stunning, and I think you're going to enjoy what I have to share. But I'm going to start out first with a card that does not have all these colors. It has some metallic colors in it. It's a card that I had a lot of people that were asking me about this card on page 110 in the 2024 through 25 annual catalog, the current catalog. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do a version of it. So I'm demonstrating that, and then I'm going to show you a card that I featured on my blog 2 days ago that has a similar look to it. So if you want to, you can look on page 110 and 2 days ago on my blog to get kind of a peek at what I'm going to be sharing. And then I'm going to show you some scrapbook pages. All of them, again, are using the Mediterranean Blooms suite. And we're also going to bring in a product that I thought should have been in the suite. It's an embossing folder. So we're going to use that on the cards. I first want to introduce to you my moderators. Trisha Josephs is on YouTube with us. And then we have Lisa Marshall on Facebook. And they are there to answer questions and help guide you in the right direction while we're doing the live. If you're watching the afterlive, comment away, and hopefully I can get to answering those questions afterwards. So, what else do I want to share before we start? I think we've got it all. I'm not going to show you a supplies and measurement sheet because the post that I have today is going to be a little delayed. I didn't have enough supplies to complete a full project for my pages, and I thought, you know what? Let's just do them all as we go. Like, the only thing I have done is the card from 2 days ago. The rest of this, we are creating as we go, you guys. This is rare for Rachel, right? Usually she creates the project. I create the project. Sorry, I'm talking as if I'm not me. I create the project ahead of time. I photograph it. I have it on my blog. And then I demonstrate it. So I've already got a finished one just in case I mess up. We don't have a finished one in case I mess up. So we're just going to roll with it. And hopefully it turns out so that I can photograph it and share it on my blog post, which means the blog post will get a little delayed because I need to, after the live is done, take photos, edit them, watermark them, blah, 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 and add them into the post. So it's going to be a 3:00 p.m. Projected time for the blog post to go live. There is a link in the description of the YouTube video currently, and after this live is done, I'll transfer all that information into the Facebook video description so that you can access it if you're watching from Facebook. But just know that the blog post link won't be live for another, about 4 hours, okay? All right, I think that's it. So we're going to dive into demonstrating. Let's first look at the suite in my tabbed catalog. So welcome everybody. It's so fun to see your comments roll in as we're doing the live. When you comment, by the way, you get entered into the prize drawing. So make sure that you are leaving a comment, even if it's just to say hello and where you're from, okay? Love to get to know you. All right, so here's the catalog. And I've got it open to pages 34 through 35. This is where you can see the Mediterranean Blooms suite of products. You can see the designer paper pieces, you can see the Citrus Blooms stamp set and coordinating dies, and of course the embellishments, which are always so fun to add to all of the suites, right? So these are the, I forget what they're called, the Opal Rounds assortment. And there's navy, a yellow color, and a clear color in there, 2 different sizes, and they've got kind of a little speckly iridescent sheen to them. And then we have some beautiful samples. So there's always great samples in the catalog to inspire you. If you're looking at these products online and you don't have the publication, they typically will transfer most, if not all, of these samples into the product, where you click on the product and then you can see other images. These samples will appear there as well. Okay, so now that you've seen that, let's start casing. Oh, well, I'm going to show you the catalog afterwards. Okay, so let's start casing. Let's take our cardstock. If you're a beginning crafter, this particular card is supposedly an Avid card, but I can see how it could be maybe more intermediate or whatever. It's not too difficult, except it does require a stamp and cut and emboss machine. They are on sale this month, 10% off. So if you don't have the Big Boss or the Mini Boss, you could get one of them, and then you can, of course, do some die cutting. The Big Boss will, oops, we got to cut it at 4 1/4, sorry. The Big Boss, or the Big Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, will die cut all of our dies. The Mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine will die cut limited numbers because it's smaller. It's got a smaller platform. So I'm taking and I'm cutting and folding a card base. You can get 2 out of 1 sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. This is our basic white cardstock. I'm going to use my bone folder. I don't have all my tools set out, so if I look like I'm looking for something, it's because I don't have them all on the table. Then we're going to open this up again, and this is the product that I thought should have been added to the suite. Because if you look at the design, if you look at the design here that you can get from this embossing folder, it has that Mediterranean tile look to it that the paper has. I haven't shown you the paper yet, have I? I'll do that soon. Okay, so here's the embossing folder, and this works in the die cutting machine as well. So you take your card, let's figure out what is the front and the back. Here we have a little bit extra cardstock on this side, so this is going to become my front. And I'm going to emboss it. So I'm going to stick it in here so that the fold is kind of right at the top there, and that you can see through. You can see through here, and you can make sure that that's all lined up and nice and straight. Because we do have an up and down, well, not really an up and down, but we have a direction to this. You want to make sure that it looks nice and straight in there. And on this embossing folder, I can emboss where this is folded right at the top. Sometimes the embossing does not come really close to the edge like that, but in this case it does. So now we'll grab our machine, and I'm using the Big Boss, and we're going to grab all of our platforms that come with it. And this is what you'll need for the 3D embossing folders. You're going to need platform number 1, and you can see here when using 3D, oops, can't read it, can you? When using 3D, you're going to use the platform, and you're going to use the gray pad, the embossing folder, and the cardstock. So all we need to do is have the platform in this one, and we're going to send it through. And normally I send it seam first in the embossing folder, and I forgot to do that. But I think it was because I wanted to make sure that paper didn't move on us. So I guided that in first, and this is what you get. A gorgeous, beautiful design on the front. It's a beautiful embossing folder. I agree with you, Karen. Love it. So there we have our folded card base with a little embossed front on it. Let's move these out of the way. Actually, you know what? Let's do this next step. Since we have this here, let's do platform number 1, die adapter plate number 2, and then our 2 cutting mats. And now we're going to grab some beautiful specialty cardstock. This cardstock is our metallics. Let's see here. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Let's flip it over and look. It's called our textured metallic specialty cardstock. Look how beautiful this is. So you get kind of this deep, it's called tungsten, I think, kind of a silvery, purpley color. And then you get the gold and you get the copper. And they do have a little textured look to them. So I have a few pieces. Let's see here. I think, yep, this is my scratchier mat. A few pieces of each. And then I have my dies. So we're going to introduce to you now the Citrus Blooms stamp set You can see the beautiful images. We have oranges on there that you can, well, you could even color them to make them look like a different kind of fruit, right? But these are oranges. Then we have some sentiment stamps. We have some little flowers, and we have this beautiful little pattern. And the dies that coordinate are also called Citrus Blooms dies. And you can see there's a ton of them. So we have the ones that will cut out those stamped oranges. And then we have the ones that will cut out the flowers. And then we have some detail type dies. Like we have these branches here that are separate, a big bundle of leaves there, a frame of leafy branches or whatever. And then we have an outline one. We'll be using this one on our page. We'll be using these on our page, these on our page, and then we'll be using this one for the card, the second card, and these for both cards. So let's grab these tiny little guys, and we can do a couple. So we'll just set these on here like that. And I'm trying to remember now. I should look at the page here. Hang on. I'm going to cheat for just a second. You guys talk amongst yourself. The name of the embossing folder is the, Distressed Tile. I don't think I forgot to mention that. Okay, so copper, tungsten. Okay, so we want to do that one. This is going to be in the gold. And then we'll do this one on the copper color in just a second, because we want to have some of the bigger flowers. So I've sandwiched that all together, and the rollers inside this machine smush them, smush everything together so that the pressure puts a cut through the paper, because these little guys have blades on the other side. I'm going to use my take your pick tool, and we'll poke out. Oh, that one just fell right out. Yay. Okay, and then we'll lay that die back on so that we have our copper ones to cut next. So let me move these. Sometimes they stick to my little mat here. Okay, we have all of our flowers. Let's just shove them off to the side here. And we're going to run this through once again with the copper. Again, we've sandwiched it, lined up everything. When you are first new to this machine, even the small machine, you're going to have like crackling sounds. You can still hear them for a long time after you've used it, but the first time you hear it, it's kind of shocking. You're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Break the machine? And you did not. It's just the sound of everything kind of cutting, making noise. The plastic cutting mats and stuff, they have to make a little bit of noise. Everything has to crackle a bit. All right, so we're going to lay those dies where we will not lose them. And we're going to move this out of the way. And now we'll come in with our trimmer, and we're going to do some special cuts. Raise your hand or say yes if you found what card I am doing a duplicate copy. I'm casing it, right? Okay, so we're going to lay it in here. So, oh, this is our other white. Sorry, this white piece is 3 7/8 by 5.5, and got these little dark speckles here. And we're going to place it into our trimmer at the 1/4 inch mark. We're going to bring our scoring blade out of the way, and we're going to place our cutting blade onto that paper. So it's about 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom. And then we're going to slice so that we're not going all the way up to the top, but just 1/4 of an inch short of the top. And you can use these measurements on the side of your trimmer to help guide you. You can also just kind of eyeball it. And then we're going to go to the 1/2 inch mark and do the same thing. And then we'll go to the 3/4 inch mark. And we're going to do this so that we have, I think we do it 7 times. So this is the third one. And this is the fourth. Yes, we do it 7 times. We're putting little slice marks in there. I'm turning it in this direction now because I no longer have a lot of space over here. And I'm going to need to do it at the 1 1/4 inch mark. And also at the 1 1/2 and the 1 3/4. All right, last one. And if they don't all perfectly line up, as you can see here, I mean, there's kind of a little up and down motion there. That's totally fine. We're weaving. We're weaving, you guys, and that's why we have these 1/4-inch strips, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our layer here, and we're going to start with the copper color, and we're going to bring it from the back into the front here through this first slot, and then we're going to bring it back to the back through the second slot, and we're just going to weave in and out and in and out. And we're just going to go to this, oops, we're going to go underneath a little bit. We're just going to go to that spot. If we're casing the catalog, if we're copying the catalog, copying and sharing everything. So casing is a word that you might hear out there in the paper crafting industry. It's a word for being inspired by another person's project and making a similar project to it or copying it exactly. That's casing 100%. If you case someone's fold idea, you're not really casing, you're getting inspiration from them. But if you case their fold idea and you have a similar layout on the whole card altogether, that would be more like casing, if that makes sense. So you can see on the back side what I've got here is this one does not continue on, and this one's pretty long. So we're going to trim. I'm just going to grab my paper snips here and trim off. And this is optional. You can take and put a little piece of, like, you know, one-sided tape down here so that it doesn't move on you. And then I grasp some little fuzz. That's okay. We have fuzz all over the table. But you're going to do that just to kind of secure it. And you don't have to necessarily put tape there, because after you start loading these in, they're going to be secure in and of themselves. So this next one, I'm going to come in from this side because I want it to end right here with about 1/4 inch exposed. So I'm going to go from this side, and because we want to go opposite, this one is going to go up from the bottom and then back and forth. And you might have to start further away instead of right up next to it, because you're going to need room to kind of do that weaving, right? So now I have about 1/4 inch in there. I'm going to press it all down. It's easier this way, like that. I'm tightening it up. You can see it makes the little strips kind of bend in and out, and you're going to see that happening. And try not to get stressed about it. It's just what, you know, it's just what's going to happen. And so now we can take and flip it over, and we can cut here, and it should hold pretty well. And then we take the gold one, and I'm looking at my finished one over here. The gold one is similar to the copper, except we go even further. So we're just going to keep weaving in and out. We're doing opposite every time. So if you went under one time, you're going to go over the next time. And this one is going to go right up to the edge. And if you have overlap, like let's say it extends beyond, you can flip it over and trim it. And that looks pretty good though. So we're just going to trim it off like that. And again, you do not have to put tape there, but you can. And then you'll do copper again, copper, tungsten, and gold. And you'll do that, and you'll start to get this kind of a look going. And I feel like we are too far away. All of a sudden, I'm looking at my camera up here. Sorry about that. So you get this kind of a look going, and then let's do one more, maybe at the top here. And now I'm not looking at the finished one in the catalog, so I might not be exactly what that one looks like. Oops, I think I'm going to come in from this side because it's easier to grab. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then tucked under. And the one in the catalog, it's looser up here and it's tighter down here. That's a fun look. You can leave it that way if you want to, or you can change it up. I think the one in the catalog doesn't have as much on this area here, so I'm just going to trim it, and then I'm going to pull it over a little bit. Like that, so it disappears. All right, so I could keep going with this, but I'm not going to bore you guys. You know how to do the weaving now. You kind of want to start from the bottom or the top and then go in the opposite direction for a while and come to a meeting point in the middle. So I will probably add more weaving here, but I'm going to show you what it will look like by stamping the other pieces. This is where I'm using different stuff, okay? I'm not using, in fact, the folder, the embossing folder that was used, and I can tell you because I have a list here, it was the Dashing Designs embossing folder, but I used a different one here. So, so once you have that embossed and once you have that done, then you're going to bring in a stamp set. And again, they used a totally different stamp set, totally different dies, but I'm going to use the stamp that says, "You're the best kind of person." I love that sentiment. So fun. We'll use the same ink that they used, and I don't think I pulled it out. Basic gray. So we'll ink it up and we'll stamp it onto our strip of paper that is 1 1/4 by 2 1/4 inches. And then that's going to get added here like that. And I'm going to put it up onto dimensionals. You know what? I'm just going to add one more in here if you guys don't mind. Hang on. We're going to do one more because I want to finish this card. So this is going to get woven. Oops, opposite. Opposite, Rachel, opposite. Back and forth and back and forth. We used to do this in school. Do you remember doing weaving in school? It's so fun and relaxing. Okay, trim that off. And now we can add this. Okay, let's go ahead and add it. So I'm bringing in some dimensionals. And we're going to put 1 in each corner. Another thing that you may want to do, which I did on my card that I shared 2 days ago on my blog, is you might want to put like some cardstock back here, even if it's just like a scrap. I'm going to grab a scrap because it will help flatten things down a bit. Let's just grab this scrap. It's not seen and it's going to give support. So I'm just going to stick this back here with a little bit of seal adhesive. And that's going to flatten this part down here because the next piece, the sentiment piece, is going to be put on. Oops, that didn't get adhesive all the way across. The next piece is going to be put on with dimensionals, and so the adhesive won't be flat to the surface to help hold everything in place. There we go. Okay, now you can see I've flattened that portion down. We've got dimensionals in the 4 corners. You could put them elsewhere if you want to, you know, just to raise up every area of the card a bit more. But this is all I wanted, 1 in each corner. And then I'm going to set it on here evenly, like so. And then this piece is going to be put up with dimensionals. I have a scrap dimensional sheet from a kit, but we do sell them in we sell them in this size. I just don't have the sheet in front of me because I forgot to get everything ready. But dimensionals, yay. Dimensionals are dimensionals. We're going to use them up. So then this one will go here, like that. And then on the finished card, which I don't have in front of me, but if I recall, they had those little flowers. And you can use your bone folder to kind of curl up the petals. So it's a putsy card, but it's so pretty and stunning and eye-catching when it's done. And then I'm going to use my... Seriously, I don't have everything ready, you guys. So crazy. I'm making lots of noise, pulling everything over. Then you're going to use some glue or glue dots. You could even use glue dots. And we're just going to stick down these little flowers here that we cut out. And I'm using the bigger ones. And I think I used 1 gold and 2 copper. Okay, so the gold one goes here. This is so fun, you guys. I've been wanting to make this card ever since I saw it. Do you see how these little ends of the strips look like, you know, the flowers were connected to them? It's just really cool that way. I like the connection look. And then this one goes here, right about here, like that. How many of you have been looking at this in the catalog? I missed it. I asked you how many and then I forgot to look at comments. I'll have to look at comments later. Thanks, Jody. Oh, thanks, Nancy, for the reminder. Nancy, you're a sweet friend. She said, if you like the video, please give her a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that, you guys. Subscribe, give the thumbs up, share the video with your friends, you guys. All right, let's do the last one here. And this one, I think, yeah, it's off to the right also. Just a fun look, you guys. Whoever the Stampin' Up! Artist was that created this card, really, you have lots of fans out there. After you've got your little flowers on there, the last step is to bring in embellishments, which I did have here on the table. Here they are. All right, these guys here are our adhesive back metallic gems. So we're gonna grab our Take Your Pick tool, and we'll use the other end, which has the little tacky part here. And we're gonna grab, and we're gonna add the silver inside the silvery purpley color, the copper inside the copper. Oops, wasn't quite dry yet. And then the gold inside the gold. And now we'll let this dry because that glue needs to set a little bit. But that would be a cased card, okay? This one is partially cased, all right? More like inspired by. And so this is the one I shared on my blog yesterday. This is using the same stamp set. Oops, I got a little smudge on there. Let's see if we can use the adhesive eraser. Oh dear. Well, it's a good thing this one's already photographed and added to my blog post. So this one here has the same sort of thing, these little strips, but the strips are more even all the way up, okay? And they are Night of Navy and then the designer paper, which I get to show you pretty soon here. Sorry, I'm holding it too close. But the same number of slits into the white layer. The embossing is the same embossing folder, which isn't sticking down all the way for some reason. These little flowers are the large and the small ones from the suite. So I even use these tiny ones here. Let's see if I can get them to stick to my hand. There we go. But I did them in Daffodil Delight. So this is Daffodil Delight cardstock, and then the pearls are the iridescent pearls. I also placed tiny little flowers inside this designer paper cutout piece. Yes, the designer paper can pair up with the dies. There's one sheet where you can see the pair up, and we're going to do that for the pages too. So you're going to cut that out from the designer paper, and then you're going to add that with dimensionals so that it has that shadow underneath. And then you're going to stick on with the glue those little tiny yellow flowers, and there are 6 of them. And then the pearls on top of that. Stamp it with Night of Navy ink for the hello. And that is an inspired card by the one on page 110. All right, let's show the rest of the suite now. So that's that. Here's the stamp set. Here is, now we have to zoom out a bit. Here are the dies. Let me show you the embellishments that come in this suite. So these are the embellishments. They are 2 different sizes, 3 different colors, and again called the Opal Rounds Assortment. So that's another part of the suite. And then we have the designer paper, which is the star of the suite. So as I move this stuff off to the side here, there's a lot of things on my table, you guys. Oh, there's that. Okay, so as we move that off to the side, I'm going to bring in my unorganized stack of designer paper and show that to you. So this is also part of the suite, and this is like, in my mind, this is the star of the suite, even though you typically think of like the stamp set as the star. Yeah, see how unorganized it is? I've already been cutting into this paper with the dies. So I first take and I fussy cut around it with my scissors. Then I take the die, and here it is, and I lay it down on top of my image. I use my sticky notes or post-it flags to help hold it in place against the paper. and then I run it through the die cutting machine. You've got this die that matches those that cluster of 3, and then you've got a cluster. It's not really a cluster, but it's a set of 1 orange right there. So you can do your 3s and your 1s throughout this whole sheet of paper. Plus all of these flowers, even though they're not an exact match, the flowers can be cut out with the dies too. I'm not going to demonstrate that because I just demonstrated die cutting, but that is a sheet that I used on the pages, so or on the card, and then on the page I used the flowers, the oranges that you just saw. I used that paper. I used this paper. Okay, you can see that beautiful design here. And then I used, I think I used 3 papers out of here. So let me show you. The other one was this one here. Okay, so it's got that navy and white look and tiny little flowers in there in diagonal rows. And then we've got the lemons on the other side. So those are the 3 sheets from the pack that I use for my pages, which I'm showing to you next. The papers that I didn't use, you can see here, it's got this one, so this is a 4th design, this is a 5th design, and this is the 6th design. You get 2 sheets of 12 by 12 in each of the designs, and they're double-sided. Let me scoot these over. Let's bring in the already prepared paper pieces. And some of them are already on here, as you can see. So I've got my Lemon Lolly base, and that comes from the Subtles cardstock pack. We sell our 12 by 12 currently in families, except for the basic white. So you can get the Lemon Lolly color in the Subtles, and I have that for my base, and then I've cut down my designer paper to 5.5 by 5.5 by 11 and 5.5 by 11, and I've stuck those down to make this 11 by 11 square on top. Then I've got a strip here, and this strip is 3.5 by 10 inches, and I cut a little V shape in the bottom here by measuring up 1 inch, up 1 inch, and then going to the center on the base for the cut. And that's how I got that little banner. Did the same thing with this white piece, only it's slightly smaller, you can see. It measures 3 inches instead of 3 and, what did I say, 3.5? Yeah, 3 inches by 9.25 inches. These measurements will be available on the blog post for all 3 cards. The card that I shared 2 days ago, remember that one with this one here? I did post it. I have the measurements and the supplies listed, but the PDF is going to get added today too, so that you can download that accessible sheet that I normally share that has the images, the date, the title, the measurements, and the supplies. And I will have that for all 3 projects. I'll have it for both of those cards, and I'll have it for these pages. So if you're trying to hurry and write down these measurements, don't worry about it, okay? All right, so this is going to get added on top here, and it's going to be scooted off to the side. In fact, let's just do that now with our seal adhesive. So that is another piece for our page. Do you see this? Maybe some of you noticed it's kind of subtle because it's tone on tone, but I've already stamped a few flowers here with my Night of Navy ink. And I did that with these 2 flowers in the stamp set, okay, just to give a little bit of added design. Next, I'm going to take my strip, oh, I was supposed to do this first. Next, I'm going to take my strip of lemon paper, and this is kind of like that medium lemon because there's lemons that are larger, but it's the back side of this one. And we're going to add that. And then we're going to peel up the white because Rachel put it down too early. We're going to add that about 1/8 of an inch away from the white edge of our banner, like that. We're going to peel this up. Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's live, you guys, it's live. And we're going to trim using the white edge as a guide. There we go. Okay, so now we have that done. That's why on the measurements you'll see a 1-inch strip, and that's basically what I mean by that, is you're going to put it on there and then you're going to trim it. Okay? Next, we're going to take and add our photo mats. And we have a large photo mat for up here, and we want to make sure that we see some of those flowers. So I'm going to add that. And you know what I like to do sometimes, you guys? I'm going to grab it right now. It's Hermafix Transfer is what it used to be called. Herma Repositionable Tape. And you can find this in my favorite extras in my website, okay, at stampyourartout.com. I'm going to add that right here because we're going to peel it back up again and possibly reposition it. So I'm just going to add it there for now. I'm going to add this one, same thing. The nice thing about photos and photo mats for my pages that I make is I typically will use this kind of adhesive for it so that when I go back and I add my actual photos, I can change the mat, I can change the size of the mat, I can change where it's sitting. So that I will typically add with that tape. Okay, and then you know what, let's add this one over here first. And we're going to add that one down a bit. And then we'll add this one right over here like that. Oops, a little too high. Okay, so those are our photo mats. This measures 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. This is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Now I've got these fun little guys, and we're going to add with our dimensionals this one, and we're going to add it up in here. So I want to make sure that I am putting the adhesive in a good spot. And I guess it doesn't matter on this one. I was thinking maybe it overlapped the photos, but it does not. When you're overlapping photos, you don't want your adhesive to go underneath. We also want to see these little flowers, so we're going to keep them exposed. And there's that. Then we've got this little orange, and we're going to stick that one underneath here. So we're just going to add that with regular adhesive. And you could put the repositionable here if you're anticipating moving your photo mat. But I'm just going to stick that underneath here, and I only put the adhesive, if you notice, right through here. I didn't do it on the outside edges, and I knew that this was going to be overlapping this photo area here. Okay, next I've got this piece, and this one's going to get tucked underneath here like that. So now I can move this over because I realized it's not showing enough of the, there we go. That's where I want it. More like right here. Okay, so now I'm going to add that one here, but before I do that, I could probably check it this way too, is I'm going to add a little bit of color to it. Let's bring in that Lemon Lolly again and a blending brush. And you can test it off to the side if you need to, but we're going to make that color start here and get lighter as it comes in. And this is just going to give it a haze of sunshine. These pages remind me of summer, you guys. If you are living in the Southern Hemisphere and you're not experiencing summer right now, hopefully they bring sunshine to your day. If not, you could save these pages for when you can add photos next season, right? All right, but we are in the midst of summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. And again, because I might have to move this, I'm going to put it on temporary adhesive. And I might have to move it because also, if I want to, I can take and write even more and adjust where these photos go so that this has lots of room for journaling. But right now, I'm just going to tuck it and put it about here. So that's a little journaling spot. And it's going to stand out a little bit because it's got the yellow highlight there. The next thing I want to add is some greenery. And I can have my greenery come out from underneath that spot. This is just little accent pieces. I was inspired to create these pages because of some other pages that I saw, and I will show those to you. They are from a publication that is not in print, but you can see it online. I'll just make that one come up like that. Oh, so fun. So I'll show those to you. It's an actual layout. I'm going to show you the matching page here too. But I got inspired by some close to my heart pages, some designs that close to my heart brought into Stampin' Up! Products here. It's actually still close to my heart products, but we now have them for our former close to my heart people to still buy. So I'm going to show you where you can access those publications if you used to buy from Close to My Heart and you'd still like to. So you have to basically have an email that was used for ordering through Close to My Heart, and then you have access to those products. This is the title I decided to put on the page. You're the best kind of person. Won't that be a perfect title for some kind of page layout where you're with a best friend or with somebody that you love completely inside and out, right? So let's go ahead and add that title with dimensionals to give it a little bit of extra shadowing, some texture-ish look to the page. And there's where my title comes in. And then I've got one more thing to add to the page, and that is these beautiful embellishments. We're going to bring those out. Oh, I can't wait to show you the finished pages and where the inspiration came from. So for this, I'm going to add probably, so I've used yellow and blue on my other design here. Oops. Grab and stick it up here. Add a couple blue ones here, maybe a blue one down here. And then the yellow is on the white. Okay, yellow. We're just getting inspired today, you guys. It's fun to see ideas from others and then figure out how we can adapt them to our own products that we have. Are you having a heat wave? Who was that said that? That comment came through so fast. Sorry, I missed who said that, but she goes, I like summer, but I want to avoid the heat wave or something like that that's happening right now. She's experiencing a heat wave. I'm sorry, whoever that was. So here is the left page. Here is the right page. Oops, it's upside down. Here is the right page. And for those of you that are close to my heart people, do you recognize this layout? Do you recognize it? Do you know where it came from? All right, so the layout is the cased part, but all the products are not used in the pages that I had obtained the design from. So now I'm going to bring you to my computer, okay? You guys ready to take a little short ride here? Let's expand this, make this a little bit bigger here so you can see it better. And we're going to bring you over to my computer. All right, so these are the pages. You can see the similarity. We've got the photos, big, small, small. We've got those little banners coming down. We've got the half and half, 5.5 by 11 designer papers behind. Over here we have 8 by 8, an 8 by 8 layer of, this is where we had our navy, this is where we have our white. We have, instead of these little pieces coming up, we have the oranges in there. And then there's nothing really over here except one little flower. And I didn't put anything really along the bottom except for that strip of designer paper, the 1-inch strip. So it's not a perfect case, like I didn't copy everything exactly, but I love that layout so much that I wanted to case it with the Mediterranean Blooms products. Let's go back to those pages and take a peek. And then again, back to these. So can you see the similarities? Kind of fun, right? Those publications can be obtained by contacting your demonstrator. If you're a demonstrator yourself, it's in the Happening Now section for Close to My Heart, or you can visit my blog, and I'm going to pull that up for you so you can find that information. All right, we're there. Okay, so here we are on my computer again, and I'm just going to go to Shop and go to Catalogs. Oh, that didn't take us to the right spot, did it? Oh, there it is. Okay. So here's the catalogs page, and you can see here's the annual catalog. You can click on it, open it up, shop from it, and then you scroll down here, and this is where you can find the Close to My Heart product releases. All these publications are viewable. There are certain products that are not available yet. It's a July through August release. So if you want to get a heads up on what's coming, you're going to scroll down to this last one here, and you can click on that and see what's coming for the last close to my heart product release before September hits. And when September hits, that is when Stampin' Up! Is aiming to have some products from Stampin' Up! That are similar to Close to My Heart. So it's a smooth transition for everybody involved in that, that change that had to take place for all of those people. So you can click on that and view it. But this is where I got the Lake Pages idea from, is this publication, the June release. And if you go to the online store, there is a Close to My Heart products section. So again, if you have an email address connected with ordering from Close to My Heart, you can purchase these products. The reason why they don't open it up to everybody is the products are limited. There are not a lot of products available, and so they don't want to open it up to all the Stampin' Up! People as well, or they might deplete their inventory. In fact, this inventory was huge before. It's getting depleted quickly just because there's an excitement to get in on the last of the stuff, right? So all the Close to My Heart makers and customers and all of that are still, making these things disappear pretty quickly. But those things are what's available now. You don't really want to refer to these publications for all of that information because it has some stuff in it that may have already sold out. But here you can take a peek at what's coming. I believe it's July 3rd. Okay, let's go back. What else did I want to tell you? So now you know where I got inspiration. I get it from everywhere, you guys. I get it from you. When you're sharing online, when you send me cards, I love it. I get inspiration from a lot of you. Sometimes my ideas come out of my head, but a lot of times I'm influenced by what you share. So those are the pages. These are the cards. And everything what today was cased or inspired in some way, right? Okay, we have prizes to do. So last week, and I can't even remember. Hang on a minute. I'm going to go to my computer and I have to collapse some stuff because that is the one thing I did not get ready for my live, you guys. I don't know what was happening to me this morning. I was experimenting with makeup and then I lost track of time. I'm like, I want to do something different with my makeup. Okay, last week was the 3 clear blocks and the Gorgeous Grape ink spot or mini stamp pad. And so we have those items available for our After Live winners. I'm bringing them over here from the side. And this week's winners, let's just do a sampling of paper again, because paper is fun. So you'll get 48 sheets of no longer available designer paper from Stampin' Up! If your name is called by Trisha. But let's just show you quickly the prizes from last week. So I have 2 After Live winners, and they're going to get these if they live in the U.S. If you live outside the U.S. and your name is called, and I believe there was a winner from Canada, you can choose a tutorial from my Stampin' Up! From my Stamp Your Art Out website, which you can access through the shop tab. Go down to where it says tutorials and you can see them all there. So let us bring you over to the winners. I have to expand this screen a little bit. Our YouTube winner, After Live commenter, was Patty H2410. Congratulations. And our Facebook winner was Amy Todd. So congratulations to both of you. This is my email address, stampyourartout@comcast.net. Reach out to me so that I can get you your prize. Amy, you'll want to email me anyways, because then you can have a choice of tutorials and I can give you that link if you do not have that link available. And I'm not sure about Patty, where you live, but if you live in the US, you get to have the clear blocks and the grape ink spot. And then, what did I say? I said paper, right, you guys? I've got it right down here on the floor. See, normally I'm ready and not everything falls onto, hang on, we've got a whole mess happening. I'm back and I'm alive. Okay, here is the paper. Let's zoom out. This is seriously, I keep collecting, you guys. These are cut down to 6x6. So the winners that Trisha chooses, and I can see her names already up there, Tangi Summers and Linda Goebel. There we go. Grabbed them. Got it, Trisha. They are the winners for a little packet of 48 random sheets. Congratulations. Is it Tangi or Tangi? Tangi, I think. Summers and Linda Goebel. So congratulations to both of you. Congratulations to all four of our winners. So exciting. Yes. Oops. And there we go. So now we have the prizes that are drawn. What other news do I have to tell you? Let me think here before I let you go today. Thank you to all of you who watched my last released video. It was not having to do with stamping, but again, I mentioned that it was coming. So you can just, when you get a notification that I have a hair video out there, you can just delete it if it has nothing to do with you. But I was very grateful for this Uniwigs topper, and it's how it's changing my look, and it's giving me more confidence. I'm wearing extra hair. It's called alternative hair, and you'll be seeing alternative hair in the future videos because I am no longer on medications to try to save what I have up there from my biological hair. So thank you for all your supportive comments. I cried lots of tears when I read them. They were great. So I just want to mention, again, you can always find links to whatever topper or wig I'm sharing in the description of my video if you're one of my followers and you also would like to know what I'm wearing. And then, of course, my nail polish. Had to go away from typical nail polish for a while, and I found this healthier version. The way that I remove it is with their nail polish remover. It's not acetone. It's so awesome. My nails feel healthy again, and I can color them. So you'll see information for that in the description of my video. And then as far as Stampin' Up! News goes, the 10% off sale is still happening. It's going on through the end of June. Bundles. So remember that Citrus Blooms bundles that we used today? You can get the bundle itself. Normally you save 10%, but you're going to save 20%-ish. I should say ish at the end because it's 10% off plus another 10% off after the 10% is taken off. And then you also get 10% off the machine. So it's extra 10% off bundles and 10% off those 3 Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines, the 2 small ones and the large Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Exclusives are coming soon. We call them exclusives, but they're basically products that are only shared online. And so that will be refreshed on July 3rd. Lots of new products coming. Some really cool stuff. I got 2 bundles from it, and I can't wait to show you projects that I make with them. And then the glass mat is returning on that day as well. So if you've been wanting that glass mat studio, I should have shown it today. I'm sorry I didn't. I'll have to do that. But you can get that next month as well. That's coming back. And that's it. That's it for the news. Lisa and Trisha, you are angels. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate all of you coming. Thank you so much for being a part of today's live. If you're watching the after live, thank you for chiming in with a comment, letting me know that you were here. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for your support. I appreciate you all. And now I would like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.